Hi guys, and welcome back to World of Tanks Reviews with me, Antonow too. And just right now we will be looking at the Indian Panzer Tier 8 German medium tank. So if we have a look at it in the tech tree, we can see that it's the Tier 8 medium tank of the tech tree branch that leads up to the Leopard 1. So this branch has just been included into the game in patch 8.5, so that's just the last patch, so it's pretty new. And if you followed my channel for a while, you'll know that I really love the Leopard 1, and I really like the Leopard Prototype A too. So obviously I have to go through the Indian Panzer to get to this tank and eventually to this tank. So yeah, that's why I'm playing the Indian Panzer. And I must say I really love the Indian Panzer too. It's one of my favourite tanks in the game. It nearly it hasn't got any drawbacks at all. I mean, it's got the armour is okay. The armour isn't great, but the armour is okay. The speed is very good. The manoeuvrability is great. The gun is just awesome. Considering this is a Tier 8 medium tank, it's just all round a very good tank. So yeah, let's have a quick look at its stats. 1,300 hit points is very average for Tier 8 medium tanks. Nearly all Tier 8 medium tanks have got 1,300 hit points. That's one of my major problems with this tank, that it has got only 1,300 hit points. I mean, it isn't bad, because all other Tier 8 medium tanks have got the same amount of hit points, but I get into situations where I just 10 enemies are shooting at me, and I know I'm doing it wrong if I get into these kind of situations, but it just happens sometimes, and my hit points just melt away and I can't do anything against it, and in a blink of an eye I'm dead. So it's a shame that it has got only 1,300 hit points, but all over Tier 8 medium tanks, or nearly all over Tier 8 medium tanks, have got only 1,300 hit points as well, so it's okay. Then the engine power is 630 horsepower, driving a 47-ton machine. So if we look for power to weight ratio, it's 15.95. So yeah, it's actually 16 horsepower per ton. So that's pretty good. It's very maneuverable, even although it only does 50 kilometers an hour. I'm saying only 50 kilometers an hour because it's a medium tank, and you get a lot of heavy tanks that can do 50 kilometers an hour. So it's a very good speed, but still it doesn't sound like anything special. But the maneuverability and the acceleration of this machine are just simply grand, and it really compensates for the speed. The speed isn't bad either. I'm not, don't get me wrong there. The speed is very good. Only it's kind of average, But the maneuverability is awesome, and well, the armor is kind of one of the weak spots, or one of the drawbacks of this tank. 90 at the front of the turret and hull, and then you get 90 at the sides too, and 45 at the rear. So that's kind of pretty bad, really. We're talking kind of KV1 standards there, but look at this angling. look at this angle. That's insane. It's a very good angle, and it's even rounded a bit to the side. So the angle is very good, and the gun mantle looks very sturdy as well. But I'm saying looks on purpose, because it isn't really. Because you think there's a whole pile of armor here, but there isn't. It's just 90 millimeters really too. It's angled very well, but all the same, shots will penetrate through this. It's perhaps a bit more than 90 millimeters, but all in all, it don't rely on a gun mantle to protect you. Then yeah, the lower glacis is pretty big, but again it's sloped very well, so that's a pretty difficult target to hit. Then from the sides, well, the great thing about the sides is that nearly most of the sides, nearly all of the side of the hull is either covered with tracks or with a spaced armor here, these toolboxes or whatever these are, and this exhaustion pipe. So all this is spaced armor, so don't. So that's gonna make it a lot harder to penetrate this these sides, especially after patch 8.6, because then the effect of far spaced armor, and this definitely is far spaced armor, will be increased a lot. So that's going to be good news for those of you who play this tank, and for me as well, although by then I probably already have the prototype 8. So yeah. Then at the rear 45, yeah, anything can penetrate this. Yeah, you don't really have to know anything specific about that, just anything can penetrate it. One very interesting fact about the Indian Panzer is, like all other tanks, starting with this tank here from the Tech Tree branch, and the Prototype A and the Leopard 1 also have got just exactly the same feature. The lower glaciers, you can be ammo racked through the lower glaciers, and it happens pretty often. So that's a bit of a shame, because well, in a way it's kind of good, because that means that your transmission isn't in the front of your hull, so you can't be nobody can torch you from the front, so that's okay. But you get ammo racked quite a lot in these tanks. I've played the Leopard 1 on the test server, and I got ammo racked in 75% of all my games. I mean, it didn't explode, but just the reloading speed was reduced and so on. So that's a bit of a shame, and you have to be very, very careful. And if possible, you should try to get hull down in this tank. And then obviously you can hit the driver through this driver's hatch, and that's a kind of a weak spot here. Then if you're in a lower tier vehicle and you can't penetrate this upper glacier, say, and you can't penetrate the turret, then you should try to aim for this rim here if your gun is accurate enough, because that's a weak spot. Or of course this kind of turret, or this isn't really a turret, this commander's hatch, or just this hatch here, is a weak spot obviously too, and it's pretty easy to hit. And another obvious weak spot is this machine gun emplacement here, if you can shoot at that. Yeah, that's very good too. So I wouldn't recommend you to shoot at these parts of the tank here, because I haven't tested it myself, but I'm pretty sure that these are they're just spaced armor, and your shot will go through and penetrate, but it won't do any damage. So yeah, I wouldn't rely on doing damage by shooting at these plates here, even if they look very, very tempting. Now from the side, if you can, try to aim here, because that will probably wreck the motor. And speaking of motor, if you are trying to hit the motor from the back, aim at this upper part here, there, or at this kind of bulge at the bottom. Don't go for these parts and hope to damage the motor or cause an engine fire, because it won't happen. You can only damage the engine if you fire here or here. So bear that in mind if you're facing one of these. And then obviously this turret and this machine gun emplacement are weak spots, but we're talking of 45mm of armor here, and it isn't really angled or that great, so weak spots are pretty irrelevant really. So yeah, then we move on to the gun, and as always we're going to have a bit of a more detailed look at the gun. 90mm is kind of a pretty lowish caliber for tier 8, but yeah, so there are quite a few tier 8 tanks that have got 90mm guns, for example the Super Pershing for instance, and so on, but all the same it's kind of at the lower end of tier 8 guns. The rate of fire is pretty good. It's not great for a medium tank, but it's okay. It's kind of goodish, and then the penetration is very good. 212 millimeters of penetration with standard ammo. That's really good. And it doesn't stop there, because the damage is pretty good as well. 240 average damage with standard ammo. That's pretty nice. It's upper average, but the rate of fire is pretty good, and your great penetration allows you to put shots through the armor of your enemy pretty reliably, so that's nice. The accuracy is amazing. 0.32 to 0.34 accuracy. That's a very, very good accuracy. The only thing that's really bad about this gun, I think, or it isn't really extremely bad, but it isn't very nice, is this aiming time, the 2.3 to 2.9 seconds aiming time, because it's that kind of prevents you from sniping with this gun, because the accuracy is great, but for aiming time, well, if you've got crew skills and so on and equipment, it's okay, but stock, it doesn't do for sniping. So yeah. Then, if we're already in this tech tree here of the vehicle, things you should the order of you should research the modules in this tank is, first of all, you should research this gun. This is the same gun that the Tiger uses, and I should just simply research this gun out of a reason, because this is the top gun of, say, the VK 3601H. So that isn't satisfactory at all. The penetration just is far too bad. Let's have a quick look at the penetration. 132 mil. That's far too little. So getting this gun is a good idea, and this gun is okay. It's actually pretty nice, and it's very, very accurate too. So now that's the way to go first. That's the first module you want to get on the Indian Panzer. If possible, you want to get it with free experience, because grinding your way through this gun is just really horrific. Then next, you have to get the tracks, because otherwise you can't fit this gun. Then after that, you should get the next gun, because it's a very good gun, as I already said. And then after that, you should get the motor, because it really improves your maneuverability. Notably, you really notice it, and it's very good. Let's see, horsepower. This engine has got 630 horsepower, and this one has got 500. So that's an increase of 130 horsepower, and that's very, very good. And the chance of engine fire is less too, and the weight stays the same. So that's very nice. And then, if you want to, you can get this radio, but you don't really exactly need it, except if you want to play this tank in the sniping role, which I wouldn't exactly recommend, because you probably won't do scouting, but it's always a good idea to have a top radio. So, and after that, you can go to the Leopard Prototype A. So there are a few stats we haven't spoken about yet. The turret traverse speed is 36 degrees per second. That's very, very good. And the hull traverse speed is 38. That's nice too. So as I said, it's a very maneuverable tank. The view range 380 meters is upper average for tier 8. It's actually pretty good. If you fit this tank with, say, coated optics, that will give you 410 meters of view range. That's very, very nice. So that's a good thing. And your signal range is very good as well, 720 meters. That's very nice. But of course, that's with a top radio. So that's done us for the stats. Now, concerning tactics in the Leopard 1, not Leopard 1. I'm dreaming. No. Of course, I want the Leopard 1, but this is the Indian Panzer. And for tactics in the Indian Panzer, you should. Isn't really. It's pretty easy to play. Really, you need a bit of time to get used to it, like in any tank. But after that phase, it's very, very nice to play. It's very accurate gun, allows you to fight from quite a distance and stay in cover while your teammates scout the enemies for you, and then you can shoot them. But your great maneuverability and so on allows you easily to be a brawler as well. So the choice is kind of yours. It depends on how you prefer to play this tank, or what kind of gameplay style you prefer. I would probably recommend this tank as a flanking tank. So what I usually do in this tank is I kind of go for the flanks, rush to key positions, hold them till support from my team arrives, and then in the meanwhile kind of snipe map inwards as far as possible, and then carry on and try to clear the way for the heavy tanks. So I think that's the way this tank is used the best. And in order to increase its efficiency, let's have a look at what crew skills you should get, and of course perks as well. So first of all, repairs. You definitely want to have repairs. Repairs in this tank are absolutely essential, like on nearly all tanks, especially medium and heavy tanks. So first of all, definitely repairs. As a second perk, I went with Brothers in Arms. If you aren't a huge fan of BIA, you don't have to get it, because it isn't that important on medium tanks. Although if you carry a crew over to the Leopard Prototype A and then to the Leopard 1, you'll probably want to have this perk, because it's pretty important on those two tanks. So you could swap repairs for Brothers in Arms, but I didn't do it because I wanted to keep my 100% repairs, because just repairs are absolutely essential, as I said. So I didn't want to play without repairs for a time, so that's why I'm just learning Brothers in Arms as a second skill. Perk. I all the time get mixed up with skills and perks. It's a perk as a second perk. Then for the commander, you want to have Sixth Sense. Not for this tank, but you're going to carry your crew over to the Leopard 1 probably. So in the Leopard Prototype A and the Leopard 1, you definitely want to have Sixth Sense, because they're kind of snipey tanks. Then you also want to have Recon, because again, it's kind of important for snipers and medium tanks, and also for the same reason, because it extends your view range, situational awareness. So and you definitely want to have signal boosting too. So quite a few skills and perks you want to have for your commander. Just first of all, after you've trained Brothers in Arms, I'd probably go for Sixth Sense, or perhaps train Recon and then swap for Sixth Sense. Then I'd go for Recon, and after that for situational awareness, and then for signal boosting. Or I guess you could switch situational awareness and signal boosting around, because then you've already got Recon. That's a view range increasing skill, and then you get signal boosting, then you can get situational awareness or something like that. So then for the driver, after you've got these two skills, you want to get Snapshot. You definitely want to get Snapshot, and if you plan to play the Leopard 1 and the Prototype A as snipers, you probably want to get Deadeye. Camouflage, maybe later on you want to get that for all your crew members, again only if you want to be a sniper, but you should only get that later on. Then you should for your gunner, you want to, not your driver, for your driver you want to get smooth ride, definitely, and then probably off-road driving is a good idea too, because especially the later tanks in this tech tree branch absolutely depend on speed and maneuverability. So off-road driving is a good idea too. First of all, smooth ride, then off-road driving, I'd say. Then for your loader, the first skill you definitely want to get in with your loader after repairs and Brothers in Arms, or perhaps you should even just ignore repairs and straight away go for this skill, it's actually a perk, is safe storage. You definitely need safe storage on all tanks in this tech tree branch, starting from tier 8, because ammo racking is a pretty big problem with them. Adrenaline rush, not really important. Intuition, not important either. Just definitely get safe storage. It's decisive. Yeah, so that's all for the crew skills, and now last of all we're going to quickly talk about the equipment. I've got this enhanced springs because I just wanted to avoid to research the tracks before getting the top gun on this tank, so that's why I mounted this these enhanced springs. I wouldn't really recommend that because there are quite a few more important pieces of equipment that you have to mount, or that you should mount on this tank. Vertical stabilizer, you definitely want to have that, and then you want to have a medium tank gun rammer too, because gun rammers are always a very, very good idea no matter what tank you're playing. So get a medium tank gun rammer and vertical stabilizer. Then for your third piece of equipment, I would probably get toolbox, but enhanced gun lane drive is a good idea too, just because of a pretty bad aiming speed on this tank. So yeah, improved ventilation, I wouldn't necessarily recommend that, just because this is a pretty typical medium tank, and you won't really realize the difference as you will on heavy tanks or TDs or RTs. So again, I would go for vertical stabilizer, the tank gun rammer, and then for the toolbox or the gun lane drive, or maybe you could get coated optics as well, but I would probably go for one of these two as the third equipment. Yeah, okay, so that's all we've got to say in the garage for the meanwhile. Let's see some gameplay. So we're on mines, obviously, me and my Indian Panzer, and I'm heading for this kind of mountain or hill in the middle. So that's just what I was talking about in the garage back then, a few minutes ago, heading for key positions and trying to hold them. So that's obviously what I'm doing here. Unluckily for me though, there's an IS-6 right there who gets a shot into me. Yeah. So the RT gets a shot into me too, the M41. So that's a bit of a shame, because that means that I'm down to 800 HP. I've lost 500 HP going up here, but it was kind of worth it, because you see I'm the first tank in the whole game to get up here, which immediately means that our team has got a pretty big advantage about the enemies in this part of the map here, because this IS-6 there, for example, now has to concentrate on two of our team, like that T-29, and then on me as well. So that's brought him into a pretty tricky position or situation there. So I drive out and I miss. So yeah, now I stay here and try to shoot at the side of his turret, but just in the moment when I shoot, he turns his turret to me, so that again was pretty bad luck for me. But I don't learn from my mistake, and just exactly the same thing happens to me again. So now I'm thinking of heading down to the enemy base, or in the direction of the enemy base, but that IS-6 there just is a far too juicy target to ignore, and I decide to keep on going for him. He's down to 308 HP, and I get a nice shot through the side of his turret, I think. So he's down to 43 HP, and now I shoot at this angled part of the front of his hull and kill him there. So my first kill, and now I decide to go to these bushes facing the enemy base and do some sniping there. So now you'll see that this gun isn't only good at popping out behind corners and taking pot shots. You can also snipe with it. So this was a negative example right there. Well, I hadn't very much of T-71 looking out behind that corner, so the chances of hitting him were pretty low, but all the same. Now he drives behind that rock, so I again can't shoot him. So I decide to drive out of cover for good and with a high damage roll I could have killed him there, but I didn't. I had kind of just a normal damage roll there, so I have to shoot him again and take him out. So that's my second kill. And now what I decide to do is drive down here and attack that KV-3 from the rear. So yeah, I drive down this rock face there very carefully because I don't want to lose my track. And yeah, the KV-3 is somehow, I don't know how, but they've killed all my allies that were standing there. So I don't know why, but I hit the ground with that shot. So I risked to take another shot, which was a bit of a mistake because now the KV-3 gets shot through my gun mantle, or no, actually through my hull. So yeah, the armor, you shouldn't rely on your armor to protect you. That gun there's got 175mm of penetration only, and all the same, he penetrated me. The armor isn't bad, but it isn't very good. So I look around and see that AMX 5100 is bullying that T25/2. So I decide to help him, but my help arrives a bit too late because he's dead. But I revenge him and secure my third kill. So next I head for this ridge line here to snipe at those tier 8 heavies there that are trying to attack our base. First of all, I take out the Chaffee because he's the easiest kill, and next I concentrate on the IS-3. My first shot misses, and he's kind of retreating, but I don't think he's aware that I'm shooting at him. My second shot hits him in the back of his hull and tracks him, and that makes him to an easy target for my third shot that takes him through the back of his turret. And now I head for that Type 59 there. See if I can do some damage there. He heads out for a split of a second, but I aren't fast enough to take a shot. I linger out here a bit, but he doesn't come out again, so I decide to go for the artillery. And just quickly skip this part because I'm just driving around. So I'm at the enemy base now, and I decide to go around the left side of it to get to the artillery because I don't want to drive through the base because then the capping bar would show him that I'm there. So I drive round and I look around here, but I can't see him, so I decide to drive down here because I think that he's on this island here. But in that moment, the artillery scouted back there. He shoots, misses, and I take him out with one shot. So he writes "lucky in the chat, and now just in a second you can see me apologizing for killing him. So yeah, there it goes. Sry, I write. And now I go for that Type 59 there. He's got 2 kills, and yeah, he's the last enemy left in the game. So I know where he is, and everybody else too. They're all crawling round, and he's showing me his back. So he misses, and I get a nice shot into his rear. I take cover behind this little hill here, or this rock, and unluckily for me, he kills me. So that was a real shame. I was killed like a split of a second before the game ended. That was a bit stupid of me to poke my nose out there, but I just wanted to secure that 7th kill. I didn't, but all the same, it was a very, very nice game. So yeah, let's go back to the garage for some final words. So all in all, the Indian Panzer definitely gets a thumbs up from me. I really love this tank. It's such a great machine. I had a really great time with it. I've only got 50 XP left that I have to earn, and then I'll be able to research for Prototype A. Till then, I'm still probably going to have quite a few great games in this tank. I really like it. I can definitely recommend it. You'll have a lot of fun in it, and yeah, it's just all round a great tank and worthy of the line that leads up to the Leopard 1, which also is an awesome tank. I'm really looking forward to getting it. Yeah, so that was all for the time being. I hope you enjoyed this review. Watch out for other reviews that will be coming up of Leopard Prototype A, for example, when I have it and have played a few games in it. I'll see you then, and thanks for watching. Bye bye.